I have not been in very many relationships in my life. I'm just a very cautious person in general, especially when it comes to getting my feelings hurt. I've gotten my heart broken before. I've been in situations where I unfortunately broke someone's heart before, and we pretty much broke each other's hearts or whatever. It's been painful. So after that, I'm just like, okay, I'm clearly not ready for this. I remember being 15 and watching the movie About Time and just having the biggest crush on Rachel McAdams. And I feel like when I met her, she's just a combination of all the girls that I've ever liked just into one person. So I was like, this is definitely, I definitely manifested this too. The song was made by me and Bacon and the Donuts. I felt very happy that day, and just kind of I felt like everything was right. It was just one of those days where I just felt really inspired, and it was some universal love type stuff. I just woke up and I just felt great. I was like, I want to make a song. I also met a girl, and that also inspired it. I think the girl really inspired it for sure.
I got love up in my pocket and I don't know what to do with it.
It's kind of about someone who just has a lot of love to give to other people, but feel they're doing too much, and people don't really reciprocate that love.
I got love up in my rocket and I don't know what to do with it.
That's very raunchy. And I think people know where I'm coming from with that line.
I got you up in my dreams, but I'm all stuck in a reality that you never really felt the same. It's more like you were using me.
I've been in situations like that before, but it's never really been a big thing where it's I find out about something and then I'm oh, I'm not friends with you anymore. It's more just kind of it's very fluid, and I just kind of read it as I'm in the situation, and then I'm kind of okay, I see where this is going. That's something that happens to a lot of people too. It doesn't happen to only specific people or specific relationships or situations. Sometimes it just feels like the whole world is like that some days. And also the reality line is just me being existential.
I get chills when you leave my body. When you leave my body, I get chills when you're not inside me.
It's a feeling of just temporary happiness that you have with someone. When people kind of seek happiness in other people instead of, or when people put labels on just okay, I'm happy when I'm with this person, or I'm happy when I'm doing this or that. It's cool, but it's kind of you only get the happiness in just very short bursts. Why do that when you could just be alone every day and just do your thing and still be happy?
And I'm high as hell in a wishing well of your eyes when you would look at me.
A wishing well could be anything. I think it could be people, it could be situations, it could be romantic relationships, and whatever you think it might be, really.
There's no way to say how much time it takes to move on, forget, and keep it moving.
I think the best way of moving on is to just cry as much as you can, because I think when something hurts you so much, sometimes you just gotta let out the emotions. And I think when I cry about something, I always feel better after. So it's at this point, I don't even feel weak about crying. I'm just hell yeah, I'm crying, finally. It's so hard sometimes, when you go through something hard and it's just so painful that you can't even cry. It's so annoying. When you cry, I think that's when your brain just processes all those emotions, and after it does that, you just kind of think way clearer.
Lost my mind and I don't know just where it went. It's still a mystery. Took a trip and saw the sun and swore I thought that shit was Mercury.
About quarantine and just about everything that's happening in the world. A lot of people are kind of changing their perspectives on a lot of things, and people are kind of waking up. It's been really, really extreme for a lot of people. It felt like a trip, the past few months, it felt like just a huge trip that we're all just kind of what the fuck is going on? And we're all just trying to just process it just collectively, just as humans.
Don't think you understand all the things that you made me see. Make me move when I'm down because you're moving inside me.
When you kind of think about these things, it kind of drives you insane. It kind of makes you sometimes like sound crazy talking about it, and other people kind of look at you crazy. And then I also don't believe in the term crazy people, because like when people are called crazy, it's just like, it's a very subjective word. Sometimes people just like really, really understand things, but don't really know how to kind of like explain themselves, or kind of put it in words that other people would understand, so they call them crazy.
Only taking me a second to see if I'm gonna vibe with her. She said, when you're gonna finish? I said in like 5 minutes.
My parents are going to be watching this, so this never happened. And I I met a girl. I have a girlfriend now, and she's sick. It's been a very natural process. It was kind of the first time I felt that way about someone. It really felt like we just kind of vibed in like the matter of like a minute.
She's an independent type. She never need a guy with her. Never minded my business. She might ride or die with it.
She's great, man. She's just like, I feel like she's like literally me 2.0. She's very independent. She's very smart. She definitely thinks for herself. And I could tell that even if we didn't find each other, she would do just fine in life.
Sipping on the goose right now, feeling sad and aroused. See you taking off your mask when nobody's around, girl. You ain't gotta do that shit around me. I'm a gentleman who spent a lot of time around freaks. All this fake facade has made some possibilities for us to love without no liabilities. I'm proud to say you came in here to save me.
Me and her, we just have good communication. Like, our communication is so good that we literally just like talk about our feelings like all the time. So we never fight. Like, whenever we like get almost like close to fighting, we just come up with a solution like 5 seconds later. And to all the people watching this, I'm so sorry if you're single, but hopefully this inspires you to also manifest a beautiful relationship in your life.
Had a scope, but don't know where I'm aiming. Do you see the smile up on my motherfucking face? I don't care what any other motherfucker say.
I think a lot of people can relate to this, especially guys. They get a new girl. A lot of their homies are like, yo, like, what's up with this girl? Your friends will say what they need to say, but at the end of the day, you also have the choice to either listen to them and be influenced by that thought and kind of like look at your girl and be like, oh shit, like, should I, really be with this girl? Or take those things that your friends say in consideration and then look at your situation with your girl and then be like, okay, like I'm still okay with this anyway.
Look around and I don't see a hand or a help. So I'm looking in the mirror saying, look at what you made me.
It's about just kind of like my own self-realization. I'm 20 years old. I just had one of those moments that people have when they turn like 23 or 25 or something, and then just all the dots just start connecting in their brains. I'm just like, wow, like this is crazy. I always try to be humble, and it's always been great. But at the same time, I've put myself in a lot of situations where I stress myself out. I realize that like I have free will and I actually do these things. It's not because some sort of like crazy like magic happen or anything like that. When I watch movies like Life of Pi or like 127 Hours, I get so inspired because I'm just like, I feel like I would be really happy and stress-free in those situations. It's because like I'm the type of person that would never get bored by myself, and I always love entertaining myself.